Upon its release, this film instantly shattered Korean box office records, yet its provocative elements have left many fans reeling from a total moral shock. But it must be said, Korean cinema has once again delivered what it does best, an exploration of class and desire, adapted from the classic suspense thriller, The Hidden Face. The original boasts a high score of 8.1 from over 250 users on Douban. Director Kim Dae-woo's adaptation pushes the boundaries of explicit content even further, marking goddess Park Ji-hyun's first artistic sacrifice on screen. On the surface, this is a suspense thriller about a love triangle, told with a tight, fast-paced and gripping rhythm. The moment the ending unfolds, the audience realizes that the true cage isn't that physical secret room, but a psychological cage built from the desire, jealousy, and hatred within. A masterstroke of an ending that elevates the entire story's sense of dread. Beyond the extreme sensory impact, you'll find that the film also conveys a profound message about power, class, and the inevitable backlash of human nature. Now follow me as we delve into this masterpiece of human insight. To test her fiancé's feelings for her, she deliberately hides in a secret room within their home. Equipped with a one-way mirror, the room allows her to see out while remaining hidden, and it is perfectly soundproofed. After bidding a friend farewell through the glass, she waits for the drama to unfold. The door slowly shuts, severing all her ties to the outside world. She checks her phone. There isn't a single bar of signal. Fortunately, she's stocked up on enough snacks and water to last for 3 days. Then Zin, the conductor, returns home to find the sprawling villa empty. He found a video recording on the living room table. In the video, Luyeon was in tears, stating she could no longer endure their drifting relationship and had decided to go abroad for a while. Zuyeon watched Zongjin's reaction from the shadows she saw. His despair and a smirk of success played on her lips. But soon a pang of guilt surged within her. She took out the key her best friend Mai-jo had left for her, preparing to step out and surprise Sungjin. But when she inserted the key into the lock, no matter how she turned it, the iron door wouldn't budge. Only then did she realize that things had spiraled out of her control, and what happened next would make her deeply regret her decision. Zuyeon's fiancé, Zongjin, is a young and promising conductor, but everything he has was given to him by Suyeon. Zuyeon is the principal cellist, while her mother holds absolute control over the entire orchestra. Despite his enviable status, Zongjin comes from a humble background, and almost all major decisions bypass him, decided directly by Suyeon and her mother. In the eyes of others, he is merely a decorative trophy attached to a wealthy family. The constant trampling of his dignity caused his passion for Suyeon to wither, replaced by a polite yet distant indifference. Accustomed to being the center of attention, Suyeon soon noticed the change. Although they were already discussing marriage, Suyeon felt deeply insecure, so she orchestrated this absurd test. Zongjin told Suyeon's mother about her departure, but she did not blame him. The mother only felt she had been too indulgent with her daughter. Due to Suyeon's absence, the orchestra needs a new cellist to fill the vacancy. So when her close friend Mi-ju appeared, also a cellist, Mi-ju relied on her familiarity with the orchestra's style to successfully pass the audition. Mio's appearance was no coincidence. She and Suyeon shared a hidden past. They were once inseparable lovers back at the music conservatory, and this villa used to be their music teacher's old residence, holding their most intimate memories of youth. The secret room was their shared secret. Suyeon had even promised to buy the house and make it their future home together. Mio poured her soul into it, personally supervising every detail of the renovation. However, upon completion, instead of news of them moving in together, she received a call from Suyeon. On the other end, Suyeon nonchalantly informed her that she was marrying a man, and this villa would be their marital home. Their past promises meant nothing to Suyeon. Mio's world shattered, and the seeds of revenge were sown at that very moment. So when Suyeon proposed that absurd loyalty test, Mio saw her opportunity. She played along calmly, helping Suyeon hide in the secret room and resetting the bookshelf camouflage. The key she gave Suyeon had been swapped, making it impossible to open the door from the inside. Inside the bunker, Suyeon initially watched with amusement Zing Songjin's stunned and bewildered reaction to the breakup video. A smug, mischievous smirk played on her lips. She ate snacks and hummed tunes, even putting on the shackles they once used during play on her ankles to amuse herself. But days later, when she tried to end the game and surprise Sungjin, only then did she realize the key couldn't open that heavy iron door. She began to pound on the mirror, screaming for help, but no matter how hysterically she cried out, Sungjin on the other side of the mirror noticed nothing.
You should join the Katosa. Hey. Stop it. Hey. What are you doing? Hurry. Oh.
As night fell and the bathroom lights went out, Soo-yeon was completely entombed in boundless darkness and silence. The snacks in her bag were soon gone in her despair. She found a box of old instant noodles on the shelf. When she opened them, the noodles were already covered in green mold. Driven by extreme hunger, the once wealthy socialite had no choice but to use a worn-out toothbrush to laboriously scrub away the mold, before gnawing on the dry inedible noodles. When exhausted, she used her designer bag as a pillow and expensive furs as blankets, struggling to sleep on the freezing floor. Meanwhile, a different story was unfolding outside the secret room. Myo, as the new orchestra member, began to make her move on Sungjin. One day after work, her car happened to break down, and Sungjin naturally offered to give her a ride. From small talk to dinner, the tension escalated quickly after a few drinks. A sudden downpour acted as the perfect catalyst for them to cross the line. Inside the car, on the way back to the Villa Desire, filled the air. Sungjin's hand quietly slid over Myo's, and she didn't resist. On that rainy night, they crossed the final boundary, and Soo-yeon saw every bit of it from inside the secret room. When Mi-jo stood before the mirror, looking at her reflection, and started talking to herself, Soo-yeon finally understood the truth. She had been betrayed by the person she trusted most. Mi-jo calmly admitted to swapping the keys, declaring that she would take Soo-yeon's place and everything she owned. Soo-yeon pounded the mirror in rage, but the force only reached the outside world as faint ripples on the surface of the sink. Then she witnessed Sungjin and Mi-jo with her own eyes, sharing every intimate detail in the bedroom. Fiancé embraced the other woman, kissing her, undressing until nature finally took its course. At that moment, she truly realized that human nature cannot withstand any test. Under both physical and mental torment, Soo-yeon began to seek a way to save herself. Once while Mi-jo was bathing, she desperately twisted the hot water valve. Scalding water burst out, burning Mi-jo and making her scream in pain. The scream caught Sungjin's attention, and he called a plumber the following day. As the plumber inspected the pipes, Soo-yeon cried out for help with all her might. Worker seemed to hear a faint sound. Saying this, Soo-yeon twisted the valve again, hoping to make more noise. Unexpectedly, the sudden change in water pressure startled the worker, causing her to miss her chance to be rescued yet again. Soo-yeon's prolonged disappearance finally raised her mother's suspicions. She noticed something suspicious in the breakup video her daughter left behind. A hand that wasn't Soo-yeon's appeared in the corner of the frame, and the bracelet on the wrist looked hauntingly familiar to her. Meanwhile, Sungjin grew suspicious of the recurring issues with the water. Returning home, he found the water pressure at the sink fluctuating wildly, completely out of control. He finally realized that Soo-yeon might be hidden somewhere inside this very house. He searched the room, finally fixing his gaze on that massive mirror. He tapped the glass lightly. The sound it returned was hollow. He leaned in to listen, and finally caught the sound of Soo-yeon. Those faint, heart-wrenching screams. At that moment of revelation, Sungjin spun around and grabbed a flower pot, preparing to smash the mirror. But the instant he raised his arm high, he froze. A terrifying thought flashed through his mind. If Soo-yeon could see out, then she had witnessed every illicit moment between him and Mi-jo. She were freed, everything he had gained as a matrilocal son-in-law. His status, wealth, and career would all vanish into thin air. The internal conflict tore him apart, but ultimately his survival instinct and ambition triumphed over his conscience. He set the flower pots down and decided to consult Mi-jo instead. Mi-jo's reaction only confirmed his worst fears. She calmly broke down the high stakes for him. With Soo-yeon's temperament, she would surely ruin them both once freed, and likely see them thrown in prison. She left the ultimate decision to Sungjin, certain that a man who had clawed his way up from the bottom would never dare gamble away his entire future. Unsurprisingly, Sungjin chose the silence, becoming Mi-jo's accomplice and leaving Soo-yeon to rot in that dark corner. But Soo-yeon's mother refused to give up. She managed to get a replacement SIM card for Soo-yeon's phone and sent out a mass SOS message from that number. Sungjin and Mi-jo, both at the orchestra, received the message simultaneously. A wave of sheer panic shattered Sungjin's final psychological defense. More than losing his future, he feared the weight of a murder charge. Ignoring Mi-jo's protests, he insisted on freeing Soo-yeon to beg for her forgiveness. The two took leave from the orchestra simultaneously and rushed back to the villa. And this suspicious behavior of theirs confirmed their complicity to Soo-yeon's mother, who had been watching in the shadows. Sungjin and Mi-jo finally forced open the heavy iron door. They were horrified by the sight before them. The secret room was in shambles, and Soo-yeon lay dying in front of the mirror. Mi-jo cautiously stepped forward to check on her, only for the seemingly unconscious Soo-yeon to suddenly lunge at her in a frenzy. As they tore at each other, Sungjin pulled them apart, making a choice in a split second. Without hesitation, he slammed Mi-jo against the wall knocking her unconscious. Then he took Soo-yeon's trembling hand and helped her out of the room. In the face of wealth and status, the budding romance proved to be fragile and pathetic. Everyone expected a long-awaited trial and retribution to follow. However, Soo-yeon's reaction defied all expectations. She stopped Song-jin from turning himself in and offered him her forgiveness. 7 days of torture had left her as nothing but skin and bones, pale and haggard. But her gaze had become hauntingly calm, a calmness that was bone-chilling. Just as before, she told Song-jin to order takeout for her and went to take a shower. After this ordeal, Song-jin was completely reduced to Soo-yeon's puppet. He never dared to ask about Ma Yu-ju's whereabouts again, tacitly playing the role of a submissive and devoted husband. He knew he was merely a tool Soo-yeon used to project an image of a normal, restored life to the world. Yet he willingly surrendered to everything the Soo-yeon family status could offer him. Every day before leaving, he would give Soo-yeon a tender kiss. However, the very second he turned away, Soo-yeon would immediately wipe the kiss off her face in utter disgust. Once Song-jin left, Soo-yeon took a large amount of food from the refrigerator. She calmly walked toward the secret chamber and opened the iron door that once imprisoned her. Interior was no longer the cluttered storage room it once was. It had been refurnished with a suggestive, moody glow. Ni-yo was exquisitely dressed, the cold iron shackles on her ankles replaced by velvet-lined restraints. She no longer struggled or resisted, sitting there in silence, awaiting Soo-yeon's arrival. She had become Soo-yeon's ultimate plaything. Soo-yeon gently stroked her hair, face lit with the dark pleasure of a complete power reversal. And that is where the film ends. The film is superbly paced with suspense building layer by layer. Its greatest strength lies in the ending. It eschews the traditional trope of moral retribution for something far darker. By closing in a cyclical manner, it shatters any hope of catharsis, elevating its social critique to a haunting new height. Mirror is the film's central motif. It is both a physical vantage point and a looking glass for the human soul. Its one-way nature is a metaphor for information asymmetry, the very gap where power is born. The mirror reflects the characters' true, most unsightly faces, revealed only when they believe they are unwatched. Ultimately, Soo-yeon becomes the mirror herself, coldly observing and manipulating her new captive. The resonance of this film lies not in providing answers, but in asking the unsettling questions we often try to avoid. It forces us to confront the parts of human nature we refuse to acknowledge, the parts that remain hidden in the dark. It leaves us walking out of the theater with a perspective on humanity, desire, and the complex world we inhabit that is far more sober and resilient. That wraps up today's story. Wishing you all the best and may all your wishes come true. Don't forget to like and follow. See you in the next one.